What is up, everybody? Man, I love this later start to the shows, as it does seem that every AI guest that we've talked to us as well also prefers it to be later. Adam, what's good, bro?
You can sleep in, bro, or not sleep in like you and Chris. You go to the gym and get your pump on, bro. I get about 2 hours of social media scrolling before the show. It's all good, man. It's all good.
It's work, bro. You're working.
Yeah, it's considered work.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited to have this conversation. I know our guest has about 30 minutes, so we'll kind of start the conversation a little bit earlier. But, we've been diving into the AI space like quite deeply. Obviously, we have Agent Hustle, who's on stage. That's got a lot of traction. I just posted that we just surpassed 5,500 wallets that have just been created. So pretty good comparative to about the 200 daily active users. But man, the space is so much larger than we had anticipated. And looking at all these other cool models, I came across Mode Network and came across what James was building and the unique build of using Optimism and also BitTensor for subnet for data and so much. So I hit him up and I just wanted to learn a lot more. So, dude, James, first, appreciate your time, man. And thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, appreciate man, I really do appreciate it. Let's just start up, from the top and a little bit simple. So everyone who's in this space and as we've been growing our own project, everyone's still kind of learning more about AI and all these different applications for it. If you'd love to just give us, a few minute background of yourself and how you ended up building Mode Network.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been pretty active in crypto space for the last 7-8 years. I started off with Ethereum, doing lots of investing across the ecosystem, lots of different DeFi stuff. I was, pretty early user, building out like different types of strategies within DeFi. And a couple years ago, decided I wanted to get back into building. Started to build out Mode, and the goal of Mode was to build out a DeFi focused L2. We partnered with Optimism to kind of bring this to life, and we saw some pretty good initial traction. Our core focus was to just build at the cutting edge of DeFi. And when we launched roughly a year and a half ago, that was very much restaking assets. We started to do some early research into AI agents, but things weren't really ready. So we focused on restaking. At that point, we had around $600-700 million in TVL across lots of different apps in the ecosystem. We launched Token around a year ago. We pivoted pretty hard to focus on specifically DeFi AI use cases. We started funding lots of different agent builders, lots of different teams building cool stuff. And we also started to think about where there were gaps in infrastructure for agents to actually transact, trade, make decisions on chain. One of the key gaps we found is that the forecasting ability of agents was not really there. and there wasn't really like a strong data layer for agents to use to be able to, yeah, make decisions about the future. And in DeFi, people don't realize, but you're often making assumptions about the future, about whether you think the price will go up or down, whether you think the price will stay within a certain range, whether you think your position will be liquidated or not. So we started building out Synth, and Synth is, yeah, this data layer built on BitTensor subnet, which essentially has 200 AI models competing. And yeah, it's been live for roughly 4 months. We've seen some pretty good traction with it. We've started to see lots of different teams adopting Synth data. Some people have started building agents based on the data. And yeah, the kind of, to bring it full circle, like the goal of Synth was to very much build out like this data layer for agents, exchanges, people to have like actually build AI and build AI driven forecasts into their products. And we saw like some people doing this, but like adoption was kind of slow. So we built out a perp dex ourselves on Mode called Mode Trade, and we built like an AI terminal so people can actually like interact with the terminal. They can query the data through the terminal, then they can go and trade perps on Mode Trade. So yeah, lots going on right now.
Yeah, I really like the kind of modularity aspect of it. It's really, unique, and also that you're using, Optimism and then BitTensor, whereas most agents seem to be building on Solana for the most part, like ourselves. Diving in just a little bit more information on Synth. So you guys created a subnet, which is a component of BitTensor, which allows you to build what? What is that? What does the subnet allow you to do? And then can you dive a little bit into how all these agents in this in Synth work together to create a data layer?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, Synth is a competition to model volatility of assets, right? And to enter into this competition on Synth, which is a BitTensor subnet, you have to essentially submit a forecast on what you think the price path, like the simulated price of BTC, will be over the next 24 hours. So this like simulated price path is called a Monte Carlo simulation, or for people who are like, yeah, work in the financial world, it's like a financial time series. It's super useful because it's essentially like a really rich, it's rich forecasting data. So yeah, miners on our subnet, or like data scientists on our subnet, compete with their machine learning models to submit this data, this forecasting data, and then agents can integrate this data via our API. So essentially, BitTensor and the subnet is really like an incentive mechanism to enable us to have hundreds of these models competing to provide the best or the most powerful synthetic forecasting data in the world. So yeah, right now there's roughly, I think, between like 1.5 and $2 million per year in incentives going to data scientists to create these models. And the kind of innovation in our subnet is, firstly, we believe like AIs will be trained on synthetic data. And that's currently how most complex systems, like things like self-driving cars, they're trained on not just what's happening in the real world when it's driving around, but also within simulated environments. So essentially, we've created that simulated environment for BTC price, and we have loads of people competing to try and predict forecast the potential price path of Bitcoin. So agents can integrate this via an API. They can use this for like risk management. If they think there's going to be if the synth miners think there's going to be a very like volatile period, then an agent might want to reduce positions. Equally, if there's not a very volatile period, then the agent might want to it can like add more positions, add more leverage to positions. There's quite a lot that can be done.
And you mentioned if you began building Mode about 1.5 years ago, but then about, I guess you'd say maybe a year or 6 months ago, you made this hard pivot to just supporting AI, really focusing on it. What was that? What was that? Or what was behind that decision to move into the AI sector? Was there like a giant aha moment, or was there some sort of trend that you saw in crypto, or what was this kind of revelation?
Yeah, so I previously had a fintech startup back in 2015, which was very focused on data analysis and like early AI. So I was kind of familiar with the space, and what we noticed with lots of people that were active on Mode, we had like 100,000 users plus, hundreds of millions of dollars moving around the ecosystem between applications, is the majority of people just weren't optimizing their strategies, and some of them were running really poor and like fairly reckless strategies on chain, and that was a bit worrying. And I remember speaking to my friend and being like, like a really simple like bot could outperform most of these people. So like most people would be better off just using like agents that could manage their like DeFi positions and can manage like what like their trading strategies. They would be very beneficial. It'd be very beneficial for them. It would like remove emotions. They would work 24 hours a day. And then like kind of projecting into the future, it was clear that like, well, that's how I expect like the space to go. Like I don't expect people to be using front ends. Like they won't go to the Uniswap front end anymore. They'll just tell like a chat style agent, hey, swap this for this. Or they'll deposit funds into a vault and they'll say, earn me the most yield on stable coins, and an agent will be acting like as the vault manager, will go off and start moving assets around between protocols to earn yield on stable coins.
It's really interesting.
It's in the future.
Sorry to cut you off there. This is Adam, by the way. I'm the other co-host on stage. We're speaking through Jake's mic. Awesome. But this actually, the prediction kind of, I don't know if you call it a market or whatever, reminds me of our friend Trent McConaughey, who built Ocean Protocol. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. I think he's got something it's called like Predictor, which is like a two-sided marketplace where you can like purchase a prediction from either, I don't know if it's a person or a bot or whatever, and so the more successful ones kind of rise to the top. Is it similar to something like that?
So I think that the key difference is these predictions are focused on like price points. So what will the price be at some point in the future? And the main difference between synth is very focused on what are all the possible prices that could happen over the next 24 hours, and what are the individual price paths of all those different probabilities, and what are the distributions. And it's like you're giving a probability distribution to the next 24 hours of forecast versus saying the price will be X, Y, or Z.
Gotcha.
And this kind of it's sometimes like a bit tricky to explain, because some people who think like naturally in probabilities kind of get it, but most of us like don't. And the reason why like this synthetic data is powerful is because you can ask it like a lot of different questions, and it's very versatile at giving you answers. So I can say like to Synth, hey, what's the probability of me getting liquidated if my liquidation price is $90,000 on BTC, right? What's the probability I'll be liquidated in the next 12 hours? Synth will be able to tell you a probability. And it could also tell you like the expected time to liquidation. So it could say like you're expected to get liquidated within the next 5.5 hours. Whereas price prediction, like predictors can't really give you that depth. And yeah, that's kind of a key difference. Like for Synth, we're really trying to model volatility, which we think is something, it's like a mathematical problem to solve. We don't think that price prediction as like we think price prediction is just like really, really hard problem to solve and potentially like unsolvable. Whereas volatility modeling is something we can solve and also something we can improve at, continuously improve at, and benchmark ourselves on. And yeah, that's kind of the goal with Synth. So similar, but yeah, there's some nuance.
So I have here pulled up on the live stream, the mode dashboard, and you see that there's the mode trading, which we kind of just talked about with perps that you guys had created. And then the AI terminal is essentially taking the Synth data and applying it to the perps decks that you had built. Unfortunately, on the live stream, I don't have 400,000 modes staked, but
you should have told me. I would have sent it over.
That's okay. You know, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try it after this. So opening up the terminal, what does a user see? Is it just something similar, like a similar perp dex, where then you have an AI giving predictive outputs in terms of where the stop loss should be, you know, where your take profit should be? Yeah, kind of walk through that process.
Yeah, so it's like it's like ChatGPT, right? You ask questions, you get answers. So it's super versatile. So you can say like, hey, I have this position open. What's like the expectation of profit according to Synth? What's the liquid, like how likely is it I'll get liquidated if this is the liquidation price? So yeah, it's like a chat interface, and there's also like charts and graphs. We use a type of like MCP server. So essentially what happens is you ask a question, it queries the Synth API. The MCP server essentially writes out Python code, and then displays a chart related to your query and gives you an answer. So yeah, that's how the terminal works.
And
you kind of ask it anything.
Awesome. Yeah, that's with Agent Hustle with our terminal. It's just focused on Solana, and we haven't gotten to perps trading yet. But you combine all these different APIs, and it puts these different types of answers and gives this type of predictive output. But expanding beyond perps trading, what are your plans with Mode and just overall AI products that will be built within the network?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're spending a lot of time talking to teams about building them integrations for things like options trading. On the Synth website, we have options trading data. So yeah, you can like compare the Synth data to options trading data that's live, like implied volatility, pricing. And we've also been speaking to products which have liquidity providers. Synth can help with giving liquidity providers more accurate ranges to set initially, so they can earn higher fees. So that's super interesting. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of at this point where we've built out like a lot of infrastructure, and we're really trying to double down now on the user facing apps. We've been spending a lot of time building new things for the Mode dashboard, building out like individual web pages to like show off the data. We spent a lot of time building out Mode Trade, which is the perps trading decks on Mode. Thinking about like new features that we can integrate. We're pretty keen to like, yeah, and we've been speaking to early users of products like Hyperliquid and Deribit to see like where AI can help them in their like day-to-day trading setups. And I think what we found is that like, you know, we're still building tools, and these tools are best used by smart people who all have like their own setups, their own strategies, and they're using these tools to like, they're using these data sets to inform them on their strategies, right? It's not like, hey, this is the answer to all your problems, integrate this and you're going to make endless money, right?
Yeah,
It's more like,
I feel like that's a race to zero. That's never going to really happen. But
yeah,
it's funny you mentioned options trading, because my brother actually has a pretty popular options website called Market Chameleon. I'll shoot you a DM.
awesome.
Maybe there's a way you can.
Yeah, please.
It's funny that you're kind of integrating this Web 2 thing, which I think a lot of us are thinking about. You know, we're trying to go crypto native first because it's the most obvious and we have a community built and stuff like that. But obviously the huge, you know, potential there is all of, you know, what I would call Web 2 finance or traditional finance, right? It's kind of sitting there waiting. I mean, I can't tell you the number of discussions I've had with my brother about, you know, all the people who use their site, and it's, you know, tens of thousands of people. And at the end of the day, it's just these people want a one button easy solution. They just want to click buy and have the robot buy something, right? At the end of the day. So anything you can do to help walk them down a path, you know, a more informed path, they are absolutely looking for that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like right now we've focused on crypto. But yeah, we 100% want to move into stocks and commodities as well. So we're going to be adding those assets and having like forecasts for them. And yeah, it's kind of weird because options in crypto aren't that popular, right? But options are like the most popular way to trade stocks, and people are pretty degen about it too, right? So yeah, like Robinhood users are a really great user base. So I think that like it's important that, you know, every team building in crypto is like also thinking about the opportunity that's out there, because it's pretty phenomenal. So right now we're focused on crypto, but yeah, soon we'll definitely be looking to expand beyond just crypto.
That's awesome. Chris, do you have any questions?
That was kind of my first thought too, is that if you're trying to predict the volatility, you would probably have like much more of an edge in something like gold, something higher, much more highly liquid, where the volatility is kind of more predictable. And then I was just, you know, reading up on your background and everything, and you talk a lot about how maybe dead internet theory, or how agents are going to dominate kind of on-chain activity. And just kind of wanted to get your on where we are within that realm, and how do you see that kind of future playing out? What do you think these agents will be doing on chain? And just kind of what do you see that vision looking like over the next, you know, year, 5 year, 10 years?
Yeah, for sure. So I was very bullish on agents which would help people earn on chain. Like agents would become like your investment manager, especially around things like stable coins. Like they would just help you move your stable coins between different protocols. I'm still pretty bullish, but there's definitely like a lot of risk that's inherent within the crypto markets, which make me think that things will take a bit of time. Because I guess the question is like, can you put $1 million into agents right now? Like, yeah, for sure. 10 million? Yeah, I would put 10 million. 50 million? Probably not. Be a bit scared. 100 million? Like, definitely not. Like $1 billion being like moved around on chain by agents right now? No, absolutely no way. So like, there's lots we need to do to improve like the infrastructure around agents, like make them smarter. So yeah, I think that like agents are going to dominate on-chain activity, just like we see bots, like trading bots dominate like volumes across dexes. Hopefully the agents are all going to be like, you know, being used in more useful ways than just like arbitrage bots that are doing thousands of transactions for a few cents in profit. But yeah, I'm still very set on the view that users will, or the majority of users will be depositing to an agent to do transactions on their behalf. And the users will be directing the agent, whether that's through like a set strategy, like, hey, I want you to trade meme coins for me. I want you to focus on meme coins that are like between $5 and $20 million market cap. Or whether that's users like, yeah, going into like a more like set strategy, or whether they're doing something that's much more custom. I still think agents are going to be the way we interact on chain, or the way the majority of people interact on chain.
Yeah, I think you said keyword there of depositing. That seems to be kind of the future of where crypto's headed, where everyone's building these ecosystems and you're depositing, essentially you're depositing capital for the agent to trade with. One final question, and then let you go out of here because I know you're pretty busy. What's the best way for users to prepare for this future, right? If agents are going to be transacting, on behalf of most people, what's the best way to learn? And then, any final things of best way to get started with the Mode Network?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that like we're all kind of thinking about AI and like how we can take advantage of all these new developments in AI. I think that one thing which is going to become much easier is for people to build like very simple trading bots. And there's a huge amount of opportunity right now in building like very simple strategies, like a huge amount. And people think that like, oh, there's no way to build a strategy, like a trading strategy that will make money because there's loads of big people in the space, but it's actually not really true. There's loads of opportunities, and we're going to see, people who couldn't previously code start to be able to code like their own bots, their own agents to run pretty complex strategies on chain really quickly. So I would say like, yeah, start to explore like AI coding, start to explore like how trading bots work, because there's going to be a huge opportunity there. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty bullish on crypto as like a good use case for AI agents and AIs to coordinate with each other. I think there's loads of cool stuff being built. So I would just kind of keep an eye on this space. And yeah, for Mode, you can visit mode.network, or app.mode.network, or trade.mode.network. You can explore the ecosystem. And the terminal right now, the AI terminal, you do need to stake Mode. Quite a lot of Mode. It's still in like the early phases, but we'll be rolling it out to a wider audience very soon.
Yeah, we did very similar thing with Agent Hustle, where you put a few buffers in place to ensure that the spam bots don't come in and just obliterate your monthly spend on inference and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, James, appreciate it, man. I hope we can stay in touch. I'd love to bring you back to learn more. I'll definitely be following your journey. And to be honest, I'd love to talk to see if we could integrate some of your infrastructure into Agent Hustle. We actually recently just partnered with AI XBT to give AI XBT its own terminal within, or its own app within Agent Hustle. And I think it'd be cool to leverage some of the options trading from Mode Network in there as well.
Would love that. Really, really appreciate the time and the questions. Let's keep jamming on this stuff. It's definitely, we got loads of stuff we can do together for sure.
Awesome, brother. I'll shoot you DM after this.
Much appreciated. Thanks so much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Take care.
See you guys. So we'll stay on, but Chris, I know you're a little bit more of an options trader. What's your thoughts on agents and options? And also, I thought was the most interesting part was the synth data stuff with BitTensor.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. It's definitely like a different use case than I feel like we've seen recently. So, but I feel like it's much more applicable, more so in the traditional markets than it is in crypto. Like that pool of buyers and the dampened volatility would really kind of assist with the predictive analysis of it. I mean, in crypto, it's so volatile. It's obviously added volatility makes it much harder to kind of predict where it's going to go.
Totally.
And the lack of liquidity and just the immaturity of all the different platforms that give different price feeds and everything, even remotely similar to that, just makes it much more difficult to predict that analysis. But in traditional, I mean, I think that you'll have a much better kind of polished product that will have better results in general. But it's cool to see anything coming online in crypto. So definitely appreciate the effort.
Yeah, I was gonna say the predicting vol is real. I mean, bro, it can get crazy in just regular stocks and stuff, which are pretty stable. God help us in crypto, man. I mean, that is like really a significant challenge. I mean, it's certainly possible short term for during normal market conditions and stuff, but we see, man, it's like one tweet can completely destroy vol. I mean, or just send it skyrocketing. And yeah, it's really interesting what they're doing though, for sure. It's that like mix. We've seen it a little bit. I've heard mentions of it with like Hey Anon and stuff where they're like, oh, we'll integrate with trading platforms. I just don't think there's any. This is like it's definitely going to happen. And so yeah, I think it's really cool that he's leaning into that for sure.
Yeah, I like the modularity aspect of it. I mean, it's something that we do. It's something that other DeFi AI projects are leading into, but I think it just continues to add more credence to our initial thesis that AI and interoperability is like the match made in heaven. It's just like so obvious that these agents do not care about your tribalism, your emotions. They're just looking for the best opportune. And I think we might have to dive a little bit more into BitTensor, or even to begin looking into some other opportunities there.
Can somebody explain to me what it is? Is it like a data layer? Like, is that what it is? So it's a blockchain that acts as a data layer, kind of like, I don't know, Hedera we've talked about before or something. Is that basically what it is? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. So
I have no idea.
think of a subnet. You can think of subnets like an L2. So kind of like, I mean, L2 has app chains, right? That are basically L3s, right? So like, for example, he built Mode Network on top of Optimism, right? So technically Optimism's on top of Ethereum. So technically Mode Network's an L3.
Gotcha.
People just call it an app chain instead. BitTensor is an L1. And so instead of building L2s, you do something called subnets instead, which is just kind of another form of it, which is what Polkadot does as well. They do something called subnets. And it's just a different technical.
On Polkadot, isn't it parachains, or am I getting that
parachains, which are subnets?
Okay, gotcha.
Which are, I think there's
just different layers. So you're saying BitTensor is its own blockchain, but then everything above that is considered a subnet, basically, which is basically an L2.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And within, so, and I would have to dive a little bit more into BitTensor, but with these different subnets, you're basically creating your own ecosystem. And BitTensor is built specifically for AI. And I think there's some sort of like training module that's going on there where instead of in BitTensor, I believe instead of mining, they're using GPU chips in some way to train these AIs in these subnets somehow. And so that's exactly what they're doing with Synth. As he said, there's all these agents in this Synth subnet that are training each other. And I think it's powered based off of like what BitTensor's kind of mining thing is. But instead of using industrial scale ASIC mining, like what Bitcoin does, they use the NVIDIA chips. I forget what they're called.
Gotcha. Does each of these subnets have like it's their own token, or is it?
Yes, some of them do. Some of them don't. There's like a whole, maybe we'll do like an episode on BitTensor, because I started looking into it a lot more recently as well. There's like a whole, like a coin market cap for these like subnets kind of idea. And maybe we'll have to kind of build over there. I don't know, Chris, have you looked into BitTensor at all?
Just like browsed it, but not deep dove it. I know it's probably the biggest kind of narrative within the industry right now, for sure. They just had a big event, I think. I feel like it was in Nashville, but I could be getting that wrong. But one thing that I thought was interesting take from him, because he spent so much time in AI, was that just kind of normal traders and the average person would use AI to code bots to trade crypto or to trade on chain. But I don't know if that's actually accurate. I feel like the way that AI is moving is that we won't even need to code them any longer. And you can just use natural language to instruct the AI to
Yeah.
implement the strategies for you. So I
Yeah.
think that that's kind of an obscure take given how much progress has been made in the AI space.
Totally. Yeah, that's dev mindset. Like I hear it too with listening to Danny with, he's like, what you can do is you can build. That's like, dude, no, you're a builder. Everybody else just wants to do stuff. They don't want to touch any of this. They don't have to design stuff. They definitely don't want to have to like direct an agent to do something. Like I think it's teams' responsibilities and people who are building these AI agents' responsibility to basically solve all those problems for the users. Like users don't want to build stuff at all.
At all. Yeah.
At all.
One other thing that he said, which I want to continue to kind of point at, is he said that the future is users depositing into agents, which is kind of what all these interfaces are doing. Because that's from a technical implementation we've learned, right, with like Agent Hustle, is that in order for an AI agent, at least in its current state, to be able to co-manage a wallet, users have to deposit into that wallet because there has to be infrastructure built around it. It's not like we're not yet at the state where you just plug in an AI agent to your web extension wallet and then they just fucking go haywire with it. I was
surprised that he said he'd be willing to throw 10 million behind in an agent right now. I was like, really?
That's confidence, man.
That's confidence, bro. I'm like, no way, bro. I'll maybe throw 1,000 in, like maybe. Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, this is early days, man. There's a lot of bumpy roads to kind of figure out. We just know this is. I mean, dude, if these things hallucinate, whatever, they just. I mean, it's gotten way better, but there's still a long way to go before I would feel fully comfortable, setting and forgetting an agent to handle my money. It would be no way. We're miles away still.
And another thing that he said in his writings too, which we've talked about, and I haven't really seen too many other people actually talk on this specific point, was just transforming the specific interface of DeFi and crypto. And like that's what we thought of when we thought of AI agents. That's immediately where we went to, was putting natural language into these terminals instead of manually transacting on these wallets. And now I feel like it's become kind of common knowledge, even though it's still not really talked about. But I feel like we were extremely early on that vision, and it seems that he was too. But honestly, most other teams really haven't even caught on to that specific vision, that we're completely transforming the way that we interact on chain and within these wallets.
Yeah, couldn't be more excited. Actually, it gets me more excited just even having these types of shows. I've spent yesterday we had a call with 8-Bit. Seeing that the crowd had mixed feelings on him. To be honest,
it's fun.
Adam, what was your take now that the conversation is over?
My take hasn't changed. I think, and I know a lot of people think he's a scammer and this and that sort of stuff because he has dropped a bunch of tokens and stuff. I don't know about any of that stuff. I think he's definitely an experimenter. He's and I said it on the stream. Somebody like him who just continuously learns. I mean, he wasn't even a coder. Like, I don't know, 18 months.
It was like 2 years ago. Yeah, he just started.
I think that's cool. And so, does he dump tokens on? Okay, well, I don't know, man. If he does, head on a swivel. Don't be careful, right? But I like the way he plays around and tries stuff. But again, as I said on the show, I think he's too, and I said it to him directly. I said, you're basically too scattered, bro. You need to like finish stuff. Complete stuff. And I was like, you need to get a partner, because he is so scattered that, I mean, basically nothing is done other than like maybe his NFT drop, right? Nothing else is workable. It's all this like idea, and he's got parts built. But at the end of the day, like if you want to like build something substantial, you have to push stuff out. And I think for a lot of kind of creative coders, especially, they never get to the like get it out stage. And who knows? I mean, certainly he's working on a lot of stuff that kind of aligns with what we're building, but dude, you have to push stuff out. And so that's where I am with it.
Yeah, completely agree. I enjoy him. You know, I like that he's a creative person. You know, it took us almost an hour and a half for him to actually load up what he was working on to see what was going on there. It felt like I was talking to a mad scientist, honestly. You know, whether you believe him or not, but there
Yeah.
was progress. Like it looked pretty cool. Obviously, still has to complete it, and then the most important part is the attention distribution of it, of being able to attract people to come use it. If people don't like you, they won't use it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's just like is fair.
I mean, that's the concern, you know, is that people he's saying, oh, he's building a, you know, one of these AI bot, you know, hedge funds, right? Great. Who's going to put money in there? Right. If you feel like, you know, if he's scattered like this, what's the odds that, you know, would you feel comfortable putting money in there? Like most people won't. Right. So, yeah, he's got a significant challenge if he's going to do that. You know, his pump fund competitor. I mean, he basically built a pump fund competitor. I liked his strategy, which is like time locking, you know, initial token distribution and stuff. We've talked about that before. Like, I think there's actually like worthy trials in that, but we already see that happening. Like, people have already pushed out this stuff in the last week or 2 weeks. This has already kind of happened. So if he just like, he thinks he's going to sit on this for like, you can't sit, dude. Like, you needed to get that out like last week. Because the odds are, even if it was a superior product, better product, work better, everything better about it, literally it probably is still going to fail, because to get the attention is almost impossible. So, you know, that's just kind of where he is. It's builder's dilemma to a degree. And yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. I like his kind of vibes, but he's entering a world thinking these ideas are just going to kind of be so magical that they go out on their own. And we know that does not work that way. That's extremely unlikely to happen. You know, I mean, look at the guy who did Pump Fun says all the time, like when he launched Pump Fun, he sent out 3,000 DMs. I'm sure that's like a little bit of hyperbole, but I guarantee it's probably 1,000, right? Like, he reached out, he marketed, he made it work. You know, to have a successful crypto product, you have to do that. There's no way you can just launch it.
It's a ground game that a lot of people tend to omit when it's like the most important part.
That's everything. And, you know, I love how curious he is. I love how like energized he is. He's fired up about everything.
Yeah.
It's great to watch. He did say one thing that I just didn't really agree with is that he was going to San Francisco and to specifically show a few people like what he was working on. He didn't want to show anyone else before he got there.
Yeah.
And like, nobody cares about what you're working on. They only care about what other people know that you're working on. Like, a VC doesn't care about your specific idea, your specific implementation. They'll only care if other people care about that idea and that implementation. So in theory, it sounds like, oh, I'm, you know, hiding this just for the right person, but the right person has to find you. You're not going to find the right person, kind of thing.
Let's talk about this Jeff Yu story, Zero Bro story.
This industry is insane.
I'm wondering if I should go back and find the video on the Mario show of me talking to this guy. I'm wondering if I should go find that thing.
So apparently, Jeff Yu, who is the founder of Zero Bro, he was kicked out of Zero Bro, like, what was that, like maybe a few weeks ago to a month ago? He was like removed from the GitHub. You know, tokens were transferred all over the place. Basically, he was kicked out of the group. A few days ago, people had said that, or there was a video that surfaced of him apparently shooting himself. It looked like he was in a vehicle. The video I saw this morning. There was an obituary this morning about him. And then there was a token that was launched. Apparently he had posted something from his blog that was on some sort of, I think they called it like a death man's count. That was supposed to be 72 hours after he had killed himself or committed suicide. And then turns out that the dev's wallet was trading the token during the launch today.
He didn't even do a fresh wallet.
And the obituary has been removed from the website. Apparently you can submit, anyone can submit to this website, obituary.
Yeah, it was like $200. You can just put it in.
It's
So it
whack,
seems
bro.
like it was all an elaborate hoax
Bro,
to
anybody when you first sent the link, which had like his final words, which are like this email that sent out from his what was it, a 72-hour
yeah, it's a dead man switch, I think it's
dead
called.
man switch. First of all, nobody who's 20 years old has a dead man switch. I don't care who you are. Nobody has organized that. Second of all, first of all, nobody has a 72-hour. There's nobody on earth has a 72-hour dead man switch. Just I saw that. I was like, scam. There's no way that happened. Bro, it's just I mean, god dang. Just the red flags just completely immediately were just there's no way this is real.
So
And
it
then
appeared
if it happened on Pump Fun, you search it and you look for media, looking for the actual video, and there's like one super dark, grainy video. Bro, this would have been everywhere. There would have been thousands of videos, tens of thousands of videos, and it didn't happen. It just it's like this is not real, bro.
So this is the video. Yeah.
Real, dude. Do not.
Yeah, so this is the video. Apparently, so this is the blog that he put. I guess Farouk, which was the original post that I saw, has deleted his tweet now. Apparently more information is coming out. So it says, if you're reading this, is because my 72-hour dead man switch triggered. So I'm not here, at least physically, or my ADHD got the best of me. He said he's calling this a Lega coin, a legacy coin, my final art piece, LL Jeffy. And then it goes on and it looks like it's like a poem about how he hates money and that this is an interactive performance art.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, bro. It's gonna be it was art. It was just art. It was art, bro. What? This person's a piece of garbage, dude. It's garbage.
Yeah, bro. I'm pretty hands off, pretty laissez-faire, pretty don't really get involved in other people's business. But like life is so precious and so beautiful, and just like mental health is such a huge issue in our society, and just to kind of cosplay that like you committed suicide is like the lowest of the low. So I just think he's like a total piece of shit. And
100.
honestly, it's just another day in this stupid ass industry that has like no morals at a lot of times, which is pretty disgusting.
You know how I knew, and I will find the fucking, I won't share it online, but I'll share it with you guys. You know how I knew it's the fake cosplaying care is what, like when we were talking about it, we were talking about, if I remember correctly, it was like, we were talking about obviously AI, and then somehow we got on the idea of the Neuralink, and he's like, we need to make sure that everybody has equal access to Neuralink so that everybody has an equal shot. And I was like, bro, what are you fucking talking about, dude? That is the most bullshit fucking statement on earth. We can't even get clean fucking water to people, everybody on earth. You're gonna tell me we're gonna get fucking Neuralinks for everybody? What are you fucking? It was just like such bullshit, like such fucking just put on bullshit. Garbage, dude. Garbage.
So token is down. Zero Bro is now down 20%.
Send it to fucking zero, dude.
Zero Bro.
I did see a funny token though. That's like called it's Zero Bro, and there was a token that was launched that said, "I'm still a hero, bro." But I do think it's just sickening that the lack of morals in this space is just so gross sometimes, man. That the measures that people will go through to make a few dollars is just dramatically.
Was that true that he literally went to Stanford when he was 15? Is that part of the fake stories? Is that actually true?
I have no idea, to be honest. No idea. His profile is private at this point. Yeah. So Zero Bro down 10% on the day. Whereas the crypto market or the AI market, I believe overall is down as well. So the AI market's down 2% overall, but that token's down 10%. Look at good old Hustle.
Looking good.
Always up here at the top is being the most undervalued. When will that not be the case? Is the question. But interesting, you see that the top 10 or top 15 continues to be around the same. AI XBT is just on a massive run from, I think the low is like 50 mil. Now he's up to 150 mil. Also Ava, which is Hollow World, has also been doing really well, dude. They've been putting out
cool shit.
Yeah, they had like a universal MCP server for EVM. I'd caught on a call with them before. They were we're trying to figure out collaborative efforts between Agent Hustle and a Hollow World. That was like 2-3 months ago.
Why is Toshi on that list? What does that have to do with AI?
It's
Is that a different Toshi?
No, that's the same one. It's the meme coin on base, right?
Isn't this an AI sector?
There's like a few. I mean, Farcoin's on
There's a
here,
couple- there's
right?
a couple
That was
of
like
them.
launched by AI, right? Wasn't that one of Goat's early picks?
Kind of. It was like the idea of Farcoin was created and somebody else tokenized it.
I don't think Toshi belongs in the list, but that's just.
I mean, there's a handful of these. One of these, there's one new token in the DeFi sector of AI that's continuing to grab some mind share. That's brand new. It's called Basis OS. It's now number 2 in mind share. It's been up there for about a week. I was kind of looking into it. I think it has to do with yield farming, autonomously capturing long tail basis yields for AI agents. So I don't even know what that means, but
It reminds me
maybe
of like
it's like,
Silencer, I think. Just similar, just automated management of different yield pools is what it seems.
yeah. Yep. This is kind of exactly like what James was saying. He was like, the future is you're just going to be depositing money into vaults, and then those vaults have agents that do specific type of things. And that seems to be what it's doing here. So autonomous DeFi AI protocol for the agentic economy. Basis provides an infrastructure for AI managed cross-chain basis trading vaults for exotic assets on L2s and Solana. So you go in, legal notice, which is normal. I believe it looks like this is on Hyperliquid. So total value locked. It's got 1 million in TVL. APR rewards 920%. Just has one vault, it looks like. So basis Hyperliquid. So is this? It looks like it's. So the pool is USDC WBTC. So it looks like it's auto balancing the pool. Basis acts as an automated delta neutral basis strategy. It buys the spot asset on a decentralized exchange and opens a corresponding leveraged short position on Hyperliquid. Basis Vault automatically readjusts leverage to optimize capital utilization and hedge against liquidation risk. Users can earn interest on the provided notional asset by capturing positive funding rate. Yeah. So here's how it works. Just simply, so the vault liquidities in USDC is split between spot position and short position, depending on the target leverage. Liquidity for short position is transferred to the hedge module. That's the AI. The hedge module opens a short position to maintain a delta neutral position on Hyperliquid based on the exposure. And the strategy module, so that's the second AI part of this, automatically readjusts the size and collateral of the short position during rebalances, bringing the leverage to the target level. Adam, this is something right up your alley, right?
Well, I think what this means is that you get basically hyper competitive markets, which means the idea of like, oh, I'm going to make these like fat APYs race to near zero. I mean, it's just everybody's going to have access to this, and everybody's going to have agents do this for them, and it's just going to become super highly efficient. Like the idea of being a trader and doing this all day long, which I'm sure there are guys who do this all day long and make money at it. Those guys should start looking for new jobs, because those guys will be out of jobs. Like my brother, who was a professional option trader, right? Worked on Wall Street, worked on the exchange in Philly as an option market maker. His job was erased as these things went to hyper efficient, almost zero edge. And that's what we're going to get here, and everybody's going to use them, and they're going to be easy to use. And something I would have never done this year, now I'll be able to do in 2 years, very efficiently and whatever. But the money, the ability to make money in these environments will go to near zero.
Yeah. But until then, take your 900% APR. Chris, is this anything that interests you?
Enjoy while it lasts, bro.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's attempting to make the markets more efficient, but I think in a way it might make the markets more inefficient, because right now it's like a free market where these flows are freely kind of overcorrecting and correcting the different yield bases, but you don't have anyone trying to trap those automated yield providers or kind of positions. And with bigger size, it's harder to get in and out of the positions. So I could see a lot of people fucking with the yield percentages to try and trap a lot of the automated yield providers in, and then selling on the back end or reducing their short position on the back end. So like I said, markets are multifaceted, and there's every time a trader is making a move, there's a trader to make the opposite move on the other end to kind of counteract it. So the more people think that there's free money, I think the more people are going to realize that there's no such thing as free money.
Yeah.
No such thing as free money. Yeah. Well, man, I appreciated the conversation. That was fun to talk with James. We do have a call on Thursday. I forget who it is, with another AI person, just continuing to book them. Maybe one more live stream later in the week. I've hit a few people up. I haven't heard anything back yet, but if not, then we'll just continue to build with hustle.
There will be another live stream this week. All right.
Yes, there will. We'll bring Chris as the special guest.
I have to be the special guest. I'll be there.
There we go.
We should actually, like, on the live stream, we should use some other people. Like, we should use that bonk terminal that just popped up. I think on Thursday we got Prashant.
Oh, that could be the last thing that we talk about, I guess, today. So Bonk, what is it called? Bonk AI?
Yeah, Bonk AI. The website is let's bonk.ai.
I thought this was actually pretty interesting, because this Bonk AI, at first I thought it was like the official Bonk, like the official Bonk team was like creating an AI. I was like, okay, here's a big player entering the market.
Yeah.
And then you look under the hood, and it's a team who launched on the Bonk terminal, branding it as Bonk. And it's essentially just like, right, it's like an agent hustle, but Bonk branded.
Yeah.
That's
being very kind to them.
So it says that they have an MCP infrastructure. They have integrations with Bonk and Radium. So they have a little bit of stuff. Adam, tell us about your experience with it.
Oh, you guys can go in there. You can use it right now. Use one of the promo codes they put in the replies. Just grab one and put it in. It's basically non-functional. Doesn't work. It literally doesn't work. You can barely chat with it. It locks up. Try to trade, try to do anything. It won't do it. So yeah, enjoy that. I mean, it's like that announcement is so awesome, bro. It's like, look, we've integrated. It's like, does it work at all? The answer is no. But it's valued. I don't know. It was like a $6 million valuation at some point, which is always very funny. But yeah, I don't know. If I wish it was actually coming from the Bonk team, it would be more interesting then, rather than just maybe a guy who spun this up, over the weekend kind of thing. But they're going to be like, this is going to be, we already kind of feel it. Every, DEX, every marketplace, everybody's going to kind of lean into this. It's going to have to want to, is going to want to create their own. And I think it's great for us. It's really a great position to be in for us. Like, I could reach out to the team right now and be like, actually, we could solve it for you right now. Right. We could hook it up for you right now, where you'll actually have something that works right now. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, we should give them the Hustle SDK and say, look at this.
Like, you guys, why are you doing all this work trying to figure out stuff that we've already done? And so we'll see. But there's going to be hundreds of these. This is just like the first kind of wave.
Can't wait till we have the Hustle SDK live. I'm just going to send it to everyone. You don't need to do anything anymore. Just use this. Build it. The one interesting thing I thought of that is of the Let's Bonk AI is that it was launched on Bonk Terminal or Bonk Fun, the launch pad, and then they're building the Bonk Terminal. So it was like a branded AI product off of a branded meme coin launch pad, which I thought was kind of interesting, because the other ones, like, you don't see any Pump Fun branded shit that comes out of Pump, right? Because it's a central entity, where that's a meme
Maybe
coin.
We should rebrand Hustle to
Hustle Pad.
Yeah, to pump.ai or whatever, just like
funpump.ai.
But yeah, I think that I put out a post about it last week, just the gap between an idea or a new product compared to like a semi-mature product like Agent Hustle, where you have a payload distribution, you have real users that are battle testing the platform in and out, it's very, very wide and super overlooked in this industry. Sure, there's going to be a lot of like AI competitors coming to the market, but number one, they have to get some sort of distribution. They have to get consistent users, and they have to get a working product. All three of those need to be true. And then before you can even like be considered to be in the game. So the position that Agent Hustle has compared to the rest of the market is obscene.
Yeah, truly astounding. 5,500 vaults generated. Heanon has 11,000, and they launched in January.
Yep.
And
Their
have
market-
50 devs.
And they have 16 devs against 2 devs. They have twice as many wallets that we've created, but in, I guess you would say 3 times the amount of time. And the market cap of their token is like literally 25 times higher.
Yeah.
But you know, that's good metrics for us. We'll continue to grow. It'll be a happy day when we get to 10,000 and beyond. So a good conversation. We'll be back Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Until then, stay safe out there and keep experimenting with the AI stuff, or you are going to be very left behind.
100%. See you guys.
Later.